The email arrived at 4 a.m. and with great anticipation, I opened my latest Social Security statement. My eyes just about jumped out of my head. My benefit had gone up $500, and with Jill's spousal benefit meant we were up about $750 per month. Jill, wake up, wake up. I wanted to share the news, but sadly, she didn't really share my excitement. It was 5 a.m. Everybody loves Social Security. And with a new president and unified control of the government, you're going to hear a lot about changes to the program. You're going to hear terms like full retirement age, means testing, changed CPI, and payroll taxes, and the account you wish you owned, the Social Security Trust Fund. So for anyone retired or planning to retire, which is really, I guess, everybody, this stuff matters. Changes to Social Security, Medicare, or tax rules, all of this can seriously impact your savings and your financial plan. So today's video is all about Social Security. I'm going to break down what's happening, what could change, and what it means for you. Will any of this actually happen? Well, let me be very certain with my answer. I don't know. My crystal ball is broken, and it really kind of sucked anyway. But here's the deal. Social Security for millions of Americans is essential. Welcome to the Retirement Guide channel. I am Daryl Rosen. My firm Securement Wealth helps people all over the country plan for and hopefully enjoy retirement. If you have a comment on this video, anything from my bald head to my silly personality, or even something I say in the video, you know where to put them. So let's get into it. Social Security is the backbone of retirement for millions of Americans, and people love to discuss their benefits. It's built to provide a stable financial foundation. So let's dive into the details and potential changes, and later we're going to cover the emotional toll and how to protect yourself with smart planning. Here's a bit of an overview. Social Security eligibility and benefits, how it works now and what might change. Well, there's always early retirement benefits you can start taking at 62, though that's at a reduced rate. So that's when you can start, but you get dinged for claiming that early. If you wait a little bit longer, you're going to reach full retirement age. Full retirement age, or FRA, currently ranges from 66 to 67, depending on your birth year. There's also cost of living adjustments, or COLAs, which we're going to talk about. Annual increases to account for inflation, ensuring benefits maintain their purchasing power. The Social Security Trust Fund is facing financial trouble, which is another consideration. Unfortunately, the Social Security Trust Fund is facing financial trouble, with reserves projected to run out by 2034 if nothing changes. The fund gets money from payroll taxes and taxes on some of the benefits, and it invests any of the surplus in U.S. Treasury bonds. But with more retirees living longer, it's paying out more than it takes in. So even if the reserves run out, payroll taxes would still cover about 75% of the benefits, but it would strain the system even further. To complicate things further, and this is not an opinion on what was done, but President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act, which increased benefits for some federal workers. It will help those who are affected, but it added pressure to an already stressed program without new revenue. So that's kind of where we are. Let's talk about what might change. Key proposals always begin with raising the full retirement age. So currently, if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age, or FRA, is 67. The full Social Security retirement age has gone up over time because people are living longer and the program needs to stay financially stable. When Social Security started in 1935, you could get full benefits at age 65, but in 1983, changes were made to gradually raise the age. For people born between 1943 and 54, the full retirement age is 66, and for those born in 1960 or later, it's 67. These adjustments help keep the system running as more people collect benefits for longer. Some lawmakers, such as members of the Republican Study Committee, have suggested increasing the full retirement age to 69. This adjustment would delay when individuals receive their full benefits, saving future funds but placing a greater burden on retirees. That move would probably have the greatest effect on everyday Americans. Let's talk about inflation and how the increases are calculated. Social Security calculates annual cost of living adjustments, or COLAs, using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. That's a mouthful. CPIW. This statistic tracks inflation to help benefits keep up with rising costs for essentials like food, clothing, transportation, things that workers typically spend a large chunk of their paycheck on. Switching to a chained CPI would mean smaller COLA increases. Here's why. It assumes people adjust their spending habits when prices rise, like buying chicken instead of beef if beef gets too pricey. The idea is that in tough economic times, you'd shift your spending to less expensive options, whether you are already doing so or not. The three largest cost of living adjustments since automatic annual increases began in 75 are, in 1980, a 14.3% increase, the highest on record, and this was implemented to counteract the high inflation rates of the late 1970s. There's 1981, an 11.2% increase, and in 1979, a 9.9% increase, marking the third largest COLA during a period of rising inflations. Those years must have been a real blast. In recent years, there have been notable COLA increases as well. You might remember, 2 years ago, in 2022, beneficiaries received a 5.9% increase, followed by 8.7% the following year. This was the highest increase since 1981. These adjustments reflect the Social Security Administration's efforts to align benefits with inflation and the changing economic landscape. So here's an example. Let's say your Social Security benefit is $2,000 a month and inflation is 3%. Under the current CPIW, your benefit would increase by $60. With change CPI, which typically estimates inflation at around 2.7%, your benefit would increase by $54 instead. So that $6 might not seem like a lot, but over 10 years, that big difference compounds, leaving you with hundreds or even thousands less than you might have expected. So that I don't bore you into the next video on your feed, this concludes our conversation about inflation. Moving on, we have what might be a new term for some of you, means testing. Over the years, this concept, means testing for higher income retirees, has been bandied about by both Republican and Democrat politicians and economists alike. Means testing would reduce or limit Social Security benefits for individuals whose income exceeds a certain threshold and would prioritize funds for retirees who rely on these benefits the most. This approach often considers income from pensions, investments, or continued employment and retirement. So let me give you an example of this. Imagine a retiree who receives $50,000 annually from investments and a pension. Under current rules, they may still receive their full Social Security benefit of $2,500. However, with means testing, the government might determine that retirees earning over $40,000 annually only qualify for, say, 75% of their benefit. In this case, instead of $2,500, they'd receive $1,875, a reduction of $625 or $7,500 per year. Let's hope we don't see any means testing. Okay, so let's pause for a moment. The three areas I've covered so far affect retired people: full retirement age, cost of living calculations, and the potential for means testing. The final area affects people as they're working: payroll taxes. There are many progressives like Bernie Sanders who believe that more revenue from payroll taxes would solve all of these problems very quickly. Here's how they work. Payroll taxes are the backbone of Social Security funding. They're collected directly from workers and employers. Currently, workers pay 6.2% of their wages towards Social Security, and employers match that with another 6.2%. That's 12.4% if you're doing your math at home. Self-employed individuals cover the full 12.4% themselves, though they can deduct the employer portion on their tax return. There's also a portion taken out for Medicare. Currently, this tax only applies to income up to the annual wage cap, which is $176,000. That's for 2025. And this is set to adjust with inflation every year. Income above this limit isn't taxed for Social Security, which is why discussions about lifting or adjusting the cap always come up when we're considering ways to strengthen the program's funding. For most of us, it's a steady deduction from each paycheck that directly supports current retirees, with the hope that today's workers will fund our benefits in the future. Senator Bernie Sanders has long advocated for strengthening Social Security by adjusting payroll taxes, particularly on that income cap. Sanders proposes eliminating this cap for incomes over $250,000, ensuring that the wealthiest of Americans pay what he calls a fair share into the system. He argues that this change would extend Social Security solvency and allow for expanded benefits, including an increase of some $1,300 annually for seniors with income of less than $16,000. So what does all this mean for retired people? Suggested changes could push higher income retirees to rely more heavily on their personal savings altering their long-term financial plans. For example, delaying retirement. An increase in the full retirement age could push many to work longer, or forcing people to save more aggressively. Reduced benefits or slower COLA growth may necessitate higher personal savings, or making changes to your retirement plans. High-income retirees might face reduced payouts, altering their financial projections. You can cope with the uncertainty with some actionable steps. Number one, diversifying your retirement income. Don't rely solely on Social Security to fund your retirement. Keep contributing to your 401ks, IRAs, and other investment accounts to build a cushion. Even small, consistent contributions can grow significantly over time thanks to compound interest. Number two, staying informed, keeping up to date with Social Security legislation and proposed changes. Websites like the Social Security Administration, or SSA, and advocacy groups provide valuable information. Knowledge is power when you're planning for your financial future. Number three, advocating for change. Contact your representatives to voice your concerns about Social Security's future. Whether you support lifting the payroll cap or opposing privatization, your input matters. Politicians are more likely to act when they hear from constituents. Number four, planning for multiple scenarios. Create a financial plan that accounts for potential changes in Social Security benefits. Work with an advisor to explore what-if scenarios and develop strategies to mitigate risks. And last but not least, always, and I'm amazed by this all the time, leverage senior discounts and benefits. If you're nearing retirement, familiarize yourself with discounts, tax credits, and other programs that are specifically designed for seniors. These can help stretch your budget and offset potential reductions. Okay, so I often hear people say the best way to deal with Social Security uncertainty is to start taking benefits as soon as you're eligible at 62. Please don't rush into that decision. Claiming Social Security should be part of a thoughtful, comprehensive retirement plan, not based on what the guy next to you at Dunkin' Donuts is doing. Here's the stark reality. Social Security has never missed a payment in its 89-year history, making it one of the most reliable programs in the United States government's arsenal. But maintaining that reliability in the face of demographic shifts and political gridlock will require difficult choices that may impact all Americans. So Social Security is just one piece of the retirement puzzle, and I can't cover everything in this video. Our firm, Securement Wealth, offers flat fee retirement planning, one-to-one consultations, and other fee-based services. If you'd like to see if we're the right fit, there's a quick questionnaire linked in the description of this video. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out these related videos up here on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.